Hi, it's Benita. I'm back with my latest album that I want to share with you. Hope everybody's doing well. So my latest album, a couple really cool things about it is that it's actually created the pages I created with my Cricut. Not all of them, but the ones with fancy edges and the pockets, and I'll show you that. So that's really cool. If you know how to use your Cricut, it's a lot of fun to do it that way. My mother has made 2 of them using the Cricut. This set that I made, and then my sister-in-law is working on one. I'm not sure if she's made another one, but they are a lot of fun, and I really enjoy working on that. So if you're interested in learning more about that, let me know, because again, I really enjoy doing that. I always like to give some shout outs in the very beginning of my tutorial, not my tutorials, my videos of my albums, is to let you know, I like to give thanks to my mom, who she's made me very crafty. Recently, about 4 or 5 years ago, we started making our albums and really gotten into it, and it's been a lot of fun. I'm an avid quilter and I'm an avid knitter. And so I have to split my time, and it makes it kind of difficult, but I do really enjoy it. I also like to give a shout out from the very beginning to J&S Hobbies, Shelly Geigel. She's incredible. She's got incredible tutorials that are free. I've made several of hers, and they really help you get started and motivated. She walks you through everything, so that's really cool. Been to her shop. She recently has a new shop, and it's really cool. I get a lot of stuff from her. And then my newfound love also is Frances Long, I believe, from Your Book of Memories. That girl has got some really fun, incredible tutorials as well, and they're free. She does a really great job. I also like to give a shout out to Kathy Orta from Paper Phenomenon. She has incredible tutorials as well. Hers you have to pay for. However, she does have some really interesting ones and cool ones, and so she's got a huge following, and I do make some of her stuff as well. So there you go, from the people I'd like to give a shout out. I try to do that at every video because, you know, I love to say that everything I do is my own creation, which is not true. I've watched tons of videos and I've gathered bits and pieces from everybody, and so I think they should get some credit. So the paper I used is not my favorite. It seems like little boy paper is kind of hard to find, but this is from Mambi. It's 48 sheets of paper, and I believe I probably got it at Michael's or something like that. And I want to let you know that this album I created uses a lot of paper. In the future, I have some things that I'll do to maybe use a little bit less paper, but this used a lot. And this is really, these bits and pieces here are all I have left. I did not have a full sheet of paper left at all. And these are it. Isn't that crazy? So there's that. Okay, so I am missing the ribbon attached to my my little hook and eye here. I have not put that on. I need to give this away here in a few weeks, so I totally have to wrap that up. I usually put some type of button or something right here, and I really don't have a lot of embellishments in here. Little boys, really not that much, but I'm going to try to find some different animals to put in here. So this is a very big album, and again, I love making the big albums. It takes more paper, but I like them. I really like when you have the ability to put your photos in all different directions instead of not being able to do that. So this particular one is 9 inches wide, and I'll explain why that's wide in a minute, by 8.5 inches. The spine is 4 inches. There is 6 pages in here, which add up to 12 pages, because one on each side, and then an inside cover and a back inside cover. These pages are chunky, so typically I'll do a 3.5 inch spine with 6 pages, but these are really chunky, and I really wanted the people to put a lot of photos in it, so I did make it 4 inches, and so that's why that's so chunky. So let's talk about the pages that we have here. Okay, so the very first inside cover, I love to always, somewhere in my album, typically the front inside cover and the back inside cover, making a waterfall. I love it. I love it. I love it. I think they need to have waterfalls in every album that you make, because I think I'm crazy for them. One of the things that happens with waterfalls is it uses a lot of paper. And so knowing that, I'm not going to take credit for it, but I've not seen it, but I will tell you what I do now. So when you do this, this is magnetic here. You can do ribbon, you can do whatever you want. But when you look at this, it looks like, oh my gosh, Benita, you've put paper in every single one of those. However, when you start opening them up, this first one has a piece of paper, obviously, but when you start opening them up, and you need to open them up one by one because this is just a strip of paper, and if you don't, they will catch. But guess what? It is just, it's not covered. Look at that. And as each page goes, you will be able to lay your photo right down there. This is a 4x6 photo. I giggle. This photo has been, I use almost in every one of my videos I make. It's a photo from years and years ago when my kids and I, my husband and I took them to California to SeaWorld. I'm in Disney, and it's funny because I keep that here. So I have designed my sizes of my pieces in here to make it all work like this. And so you keep flipping these up, and again, and I do not cover these until I get all done. I use my scrap papers for a lot of these things. When I cover my pocket pieces, I use scrap paper so I can concentrate on using my big pieces as I needed. And then when I get down to the last page, what I do is I make a pocket, and you could shove a 4x6 photo in here, but I would be more apt to make a couple little smaller mats and put in there. Again, all the pockets that are in this album are made with the Cricut. You'll see that little bumpy thing there. I made PNG files, not SVG, but PNG files that you import, and I tell you what size to import them to, and then you do that. So, but also what looks, when you open up your waterfall, look, it looks like I have got paper on every single one of those as well. Isn't that cool? So that, I think, has been really successful. Again, you want to close them one by one, because if you don't, they will often get caught down here on your page, on your piece of paper. These are just 2 strips. So again, I have used smaller strips here because I placed this right on the page. All right, so let's get into our pages. Okay, so again, this was created with my Cricut, and I will put this here. So that's the edge right there. I made this edge, made a PNG file, and for all the cardstock and for the decorative paper. And so now pages that are square, you don't need your Cricut for. So it's just these, which are super hard when you're cutting on a die cut machine when these are 6 or 8 inches long. It makes it really hard to get that right and then to match your pieces. So that is really cool. So this opens up, and I know you can't see the top of this one, but it's just a page. This down here is a pocket. Again, the pockets were created with the Cricut, and this slips right in there. This right here, again, this was made with the Cricut, but this is a deep pocket, pretty deep pocket, so you'd be able to put some pretty deep photos in there, or pretty big photos in there. Okay, moving right along. This is a fun page. Again, I use lots of magnets, and I know it's costly, but I love magnets. Again, this is I did with my Cricut, and you open it up, you got places for photos. Again, you could be creative, and you could make a photo piece like this, and then use strips of paper, and it would save you some paper that way. You might see some of that in my coming albums. And then this is a pocket as well. Again, this was created on the Cricut. I'd like to give my recipients the ability to have pockets and the ability to lay photos on their pages. So this page right here, again, it's got a little tab here, and it opens up like this. So I have a pocket right here, and then I have, you can put photos here. Magnet, this has a double magnet. When you open this one up, then this here is a pocket, and then this here is a pocket. Or excuse me, is not a pocket. This, you can just lay your photos on there. This is a fun page. I want you to know that I took this paper and cut it out in the Cricut. And when you're using the Cricut, it's easy to tell where you're going to lay your paper. So it was easy for me to tell to make sure I got this in where I wanted to cut it. And then that cuts that edge on there. This is just a page. Again, you could make it so you had a photo mat here. I use white. I use normally black cardstock, and I make my photo mats in white, and then you could use smaller paper. So there's a way to use less paper than the 48 sheets. So that's one of my goals on my next album. Again, here's a fun pocket here. This page, and again, I told you I normally come back and I use scraps to put paper on my pockets. I do that at the very end because that way I can use all my other paper to the best capacity. This page is really cool. It's got a lot going on. There's a magnet on this side, and there's places for photos. Here, I use swing tabs. These tabs are from Tim Holtz Big Thick Die, but you could use round circles. You can use your own. You can stack a few papers together that are square and make swing tabs, so you don't have to have that Tim Holtz die. But those swing, so instead of using a magnet, there's a swing tab, and you open that up. And then you open this up, and this is so cool because this is a 12 by 12 paper that I made the whole spread on. And then we have a couple pockets here, and you'll be able to put your photos up here. Isn't that cool? I really like that page. I like them all, actually. Okay, so here we go with this page. Again, this is you can place a photo here. I'll place some embellishments maybe down here where there might be a circle, something down here that you can then scoot your picture underneath. I just haven't done that yet because I have to go find some. This opens up, and there's a pocket right here. Again, remember, all these pockets were created with my Cricut. This looks like it's one piece, but it's actually two because I use the same piece of paper there. And I open it up, and I open it up, and again, this is a cool way to look at your 12 by 12 paper, because look at this. I just made this go all the way across. Isn't that cool? And then this is a pocket, and this is a pocket. And again, remember, when you're making these albums, you don't have to do the pockets. You could leave these pockets completely out and have just these places for photos. So it's really, I tell my mom and my sister-in-law, it's really your creativity. I just give you some pieces, and then you figure out what you want to do. This page right here, again, this was not cut with my Cricut. This is just a square. So this is a piece I cut out. And this, even though a 4x6 photo would fit here, what I did on these two is I have real small pockets. So you'd want to put a smaller photo mat in there for smaller pockets. Again, then this is a big piece. And like I said before, you could sure make, you know, a photo mat and a photo mat or something and use less big paper in there. But it's fun. You'll see that I take my time, and not a lot of people do this, but I smudge or edge all my papers with Tim Holtz vintage photo ink, I believe, the brown. I've done it since I started making albums. It takes me longer than anybody else to make my albums because I do that, but I think it just adds. Everybody I give an album to always comments on that. This page right here, my mom and my sister-in-law kind of chuckle when they made it because there's a lot going on. And this is the second album I made in this capacity. And I actually put this on incorrectly, but it still works just fine. So you open these up. These are not pockets. I used my paper to capacity and it was short, so I just added some stripes down there. So I should have made it a pocket because it kind of looks like it. But you'll be able to put, you know, photos here, you know, photos here. But these two pages right here really should have been attached down way below here, but I did not do that. So, however, it doesn't matter because again, it still works. Then this opens up, and I know this is getting outside of my camera, but this is a pocket here. This is just a place for photos, and this opens up again, and that is a pocket. That is a pocket down there. And then, of course, you have places for photos right here. But that is not all, folks. This then opens up as well, and you have that great big area here, and then this opens up and makes this, again, this is from the 12 by 12 paper. It says baby boy, and then over here is a pocket, and then you can put a smaller photo over there. A lot going on that page. It's pretty. These two pages together are pretty thick, pretty thick. Okay, so here we come with this page. Again, this has a double magnet on it, so this opens up. And again, I didn't put any pockets on here. That doesn't mean that you can't, but you open that up. Here's another great page for photos. You open that up. Here's another great page for photos, and then this is a double pocket. I know it kind of doesn't look like that because I use the same color paper. I typically don't do that. This is a deep pocket, and then this is a shorter pocket. And again, you can get some good photos in there. This pocket right here is created with my Cricut. Okay, this page is fun. It has a pocket right here. And I have, this is a little booklet that goes in there. I have not done anything with these pages. I will probably put a white mat on there with a strip of paper in it because I don't want to cover it, you know, all the way. Well, first of all, I don't have paper to cover it all the way. But I will probably just put some strips on there for that. And on the back as well. And that just kind of flows right in there. And then this page opens up, and again, it has that same baby boy on there. This is not a pocket. Again, I just used some decorative paper on here, but you can put a photo here and some smaller photos there. This page right here is not a waterfall, but it kind of looks like it. So you open this up, and these are spaces for photos as well. This page right here is actually a 4x6 photo, although I don't know if I'd want to cover that. I may put little photos up there because I love that paper. And then also on this one. Again, that's not all, because then this opens up and then you have a pocket right here. Close that up. I always have to think how this goes. There we go. Okay. Then this is our last page in the book itself. Again, this is magnetic. It opens up. I love flips. I just love flips, which usually uses a lot of magnets. But you know, I feel if you make a really cool album once a month and then you put the money into it and you give them, I give mine away, by the way. I rarely would sell an album. I'm just so into giving them away because I think they're very special. But in here we have a pocket here and a pocket here. And then we come to the last, and this is something I do as well a lot, and I will, I kind of want to do a video on making some of these things. I really started videoing my stuff so my mother and my sister-in-law, who do not live in the same town as I do, could look at my albums and then make them as well. So that's what started this whole thing. And so I will try to make something up to show how to do these things. But this thing I love. So you just kind of unwrap this, and then this opens up. And look at this spread. This is so cool, you guys. Look at this spread. There you go. Isn't that cool? And so with this, you can lay a whole bunch of photos in there. This has a little bit of a gusset. A lot of my pages have gussets in it. It's just an 1/8" gusset, which isn't much, but it will hold several photos. And then you just would close this back up. And again, this was made with my Cricut, this edging here, and you just wrap it back up. The other thing I want to share with you before I end this video is I'd like to hear some comments. I don't have a huge following. That's not what I'm all about. But if you're interested in, some stuff with the Cricut, leave me a comment. But what I want to show you, I don't know if you noticed how flat my albums lay. And these are thick. Again, that's a 4-inch spine. But I don't take credit for this. I've watched Shelley, I've watched Frances, I've watched Kathy Orta, and I've taken bits and pieces from each and every one of them. But one of the things I don't like when I made albums in the beginning is they would make your attachment for your pages one big piece that you adhere to your spine. I don't like that. My pages are heavy. I don't like how it looks. I don't like how it feels. I don't like how you put it together. Mine's always crooked. No matter what I do. And so what I have done is I use a system that's either U's or an upside down T. And the U is, a U will hold 4 pages, 2 on this side and then 2 on this side. And that makes a U right here. And I know that's hard to see. But so this piece of black and this piece of black are actually all one piece just right here. And I also raise my page up a 1/2 inch from the spine because then it gives you a little bit of cushion and it makes it lay flat. And again, this is another U. And then the last 2 pages are another U. If you have an odd number of pages, I use a T, an upside down T, which will do the same thing. And then what I do is I lay paper inside here, which then it makes it so nice. It's easier to get them on straight, in my opinion. I think I've converted my mom over to that. My sister-in-law is starting that. I really like it, and it's been a big help for me. Again, there's nothing wrong with how anybody else adheres their pages. However, when you do add that 1/2 inch, you have to make sure that you add it to your cover. And that's one of the things I told you. I explained why this is 9 inches and this is 8.5. When my pages are 8 by 8, you have to add for that additional 1/2 inch that you're messing with. Otherwise, your pages would be right up. If you didn't do that, they would be right up to the end of your book, which you probably wouldn't want to do. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed watching my video on this one. It was a lot of fun to make, and I have a couple from my mom that I will probably video in the next few days to let you to show you what she did with her papers. So there you go. Thanks a lot.